Hi, everyone. It's Leslie Hasser with Your Biz Rules Business Coaching. This is how this day has been. Coaching from the Carpool. And today in Dallas, Texas, it is kind of one of those days where we have rain and sun and clouds and wind. And it's not tumultuous. I mean, we're supposed to have hail. You can see my nose has been red from blowing my nose today, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But it is kind of one of these days where you don't know whether it's happy or sad, really, if it's going to be horrible weather or great weather. And it's kind of, I don't know, sums up my day. And I thought, just with what we have going on in my own world, it gave a natural entryway into this topic, which is really about handling grief in your business. Personally, my celebration today is that it's my youngest son's 11th birthday. Some days I'm amazed he's made it this far. But he can be a very passionate, joyful person. I like to say that he experiences every emotion at 110%. So whether that's anger or happiness, he's kind of there. He's also my pessimistic child. And he's just hypercritical, and that can be really good for a lot of good things. It can be a very big strength, but he's definitely my child that sees the bad first in things. Which is why I guess it makes today even so much harder. We have fur babies. We have animals, we have pets, and we have us for a while. But my 17-year-old cat is going to have to be put down tomorrow. So he's in kidney failure. And we knew, right? I mean, he's an old cat, but it's never easy to say goodbye to somebody that's a living thing. So Sam I Am, that's what I call him, because the way he meows, he kind of sounds like he's saying his own name. And so it's always Sam, that's how he meows. So we're going to have to say goodbye to Sam. And that's hard, right? And it's hard because I know Christian, he's going to internalize it. And we had another pet die just shortly after his birthday, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. So I would say in the last 5-6 years, we've lost 3 animals. And so Ivy Lee died, another one of our cats, on May 8th. And so Sam's going to pass away on May 5th. I don't even remember what day it is. It's been that kind of day. So... but I can't let that happen today because Christian will very much internalize that. So, it's that struggle of having to go pick up cupcakes to celebrate my son's birthday, drop them off at school so I can go pick up my cat from the vet. And anyway, so that's the kind of grief I'm dealing with today. Yay. But I really was thinking about some things because I have had my best month probably in this business in the last month, so yay, right? And there's a couple of things going on. So there's this concept of perturbation, and I'm probably not even saying it right, but when you are actually going through change, and when you're meeting a lot of resistance, and you get to this point of really feeling like, man, all this shit is coming out today. I mean, it's coming at me from every angle. That's this moment, especially when you put in change, to hang on, because it's typically you meet the most resistance and you have the most crap clearing the pipes right before you get clear and you get these big breakthroughs. So definitely I'm experiencing that in my own business right now. And you know what? I've had past failures. I have failed. I've royally failed in some big ways. I've had business ventures not go well, such as to the tune of making, I don't know, $60,000 in inventory investment, making the decision to walk away from that business. This was like staging, liquidating it, really think I'm going to get 20 grand back from it, and I'll pay off the line of credit that I used to buy this, stuff, and got 2. $2,000. That was a really hard day. Having to, there's some times where you're grieving over the loss of staff. As small businesses, it's really hard not to feel like family. I mean, we're not a corporation. We've got people that we know, like, and trust. So when you have somebody leave, or you have to let somebody leave, that's kind of a grieving process. Most recently I talked about, my foray into online marketing. You have to excuse me. And that was a 3-year investment. Probably spent about $60,000 on that too. To only really ever make $800. I worked the problem, for sure, and I know enough to not necessarily to keep trying. But there is times where you just have to walk away. And you're like, this is not a good situation. It's not proving results. It's not, everything that I've tried to fix isn't fixed. And I could have made the choice to invest heavier and get more expertise into that. But I did do a lot of investment with it. So I was very methodic with it, and it was a good decision to walk away from it. But it still left me with a grieving process. I still grieved for what could have been, for the time that I did invest in it, for the awakening of after I let it go, of really seeing, oh crap, I was hiding behind this, in my own business. And it's really, there's some things that you do in your business that even when you shouldn't do them, you still do them because, oh hell, there are a lot of reasons, right? You're not dealing with something, you're hiding from something, you're not ready for something, you don't know something, there's so many reasons in there. But still that decision to shut that down and not pursue it any further when it's the end thing. Like, it works great for some people. Now I will tell you what does work great for me is speaking, getting up on stage, meeting people, talking, having frank conversations. That's what works for me right now. And so that's really where I chose to focus. So it's interesting, right? Because there's always going to be somebody that says you should have, woulda, coulda, and you're going to do the same thing. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. I shoulda, woulda, coulda. What ifs, type of a thing. But there are times when you walk away from stuff in your business, and I don't think as entrepreneurs, especially if you're newly entrepreneur, if you're in your first business, that you're prepared for the level of personal grief that goes along with some stuff. I know I wasn't ever. Now I don't enjoy it. I know how to deal with it. I know that it's going to happen. Like, I guess it's not part of the normal, but something to where I understand that it's not a personal fault of me, that there's sometimes forces and decisions that have to be made, and they're hard. So I probably never have been so personally disappointed at things and occurrences, at myself, at my staff, at my clients, at my, trying and failing some days, as I have been as an entrepreneur. So I think that's the one thing we don't know to prepare ourselves for. I know I see the little infograms. I don't know if you've ever seen it, where they talk about some of our biggest successes, people that we're looking up to, and they actually document all the failures along the way, like the failed businesses. And a lot of people that are making it nowadays, and I didn't look it up to be able to tell you who today, but they failed a lot. Massive amounts of debt, bankruptcies, lost ideas, money out the door, kind of a thing. But they came back. They always came back. And I think that's this concept of failing forward. First of all, grieve. I'm a big, not that I'm an expert, but I do love Brené Brown. And I'm reading the book Vulnerability. And this whole acknowledging feelings and emotions, honoring them, as in, I feel this and that's okay, and then letting them go, blessing them and moving it on. So I think this is a point in time to where you have to realize your grief. If that's what you're going through, you have to realize that grief. And then you have to let it go and move on, because as business owners, this is on the job training, right? It's like in real life all the time. We don't get a practice zone. We don't have a practice room. We don't have sparring matches in a dojo. We are out there doing it, and there's something to be said for that. That's amazing, right? But if you're going to fall forward. If you're going to fall, take your time, learn your lessons, but don't quit. Don't quit. I mean, you've got to be resilient. You got to be able to pick yourself back up. Nobody's going to do it for you. The hardest things after failures, I think, sometimes is how our friends and family treat us when we decide to do the next venture, and whether they're behind us or whether they're protective of us. And I there's a side conversation that I'm having in one of our groups about spouses and business and things of that nature. And I really think in a lot of ways our spouses are only trying to protect us. Like it's a love thing. And so they remember the hurt and they don't want us to be hurt again. But I will say, as entrepreneurism goes, if you've started a business, you probably need to be in business. You just haven't found the right business. And you're learning with, if you think about riding a bike, or at least, way back when with us, when we didn't have all the pads and the helmets and you fell off your bike and you got scraped up, cut up, right? That's kind of what I think business is like sometimes. It's real, right? So, I think that's today's coaching from the Carpool. Tomorrow's going to be a better day. No, tomorrow's not going to be a better day, but it will get better. It always does. So if you're dealing with grief in your business, I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist, and I have a friend that's going through some grief and who is a therapist, and she said, people talk about opening doors and opening windows. Well, grief's kind of like that trap door that you didn't know was coming, and you're doing everything you can not to fall too far down it. Grief sucks. There ain't nothing about it. So if you're going through that, find somebody who's been through something similar, who can listen and understand, because it's not something to necessarily for them to fix. You just need to be able to talk it out and get it out. When you're ready to try again, try again. If you're having minor griefs, like not business-ending griefs, let's say, deal with it, but don't quit. Don't abandon. Keep on going. If you've made the decision to quit business or shut down a business, listen, I've helped business owners do this, and sometimes it's great. It is really the thing that needs to happen. But mourn, but don't beat yourself up. Don't do it. It's not worth it. You can only move forward. You can't go back. So if mourn, cleanse, heal, and then if you're meant to do it, come back again and do it better, because it's really what entrepreneurism is about, and small business. So, all right, that's all. That's all I'm going to do today. It's a crappy day. That's okay. It's Leslie Hassler, your Biz Rules Business Coaching from the Carpool, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.